So scalars and loops. Okay. So as we have discussed that ventilator graphics are nothing but it's just the graphical representation of the data, what the patient is getting inside, how the patient is getting ventilated. So they are of two types. There are one is called the scalar, second is called the loops. Scalars are again three types. One is called pressure time PT, flow time FT, and volume time VT. Okay. Scalars and loops are of two types. One is called PV loop or pressure volume loop and flow volume or FV loops. Okay. So thus we have total 5 kind of graphical representation of the computer screen of the ventilator, what we need to interpret it, right. So basing on this data, we have to find out what mode the patient is getting ventilated, is there any problem, is there any troubleshooting, and do you need to have any intervention for the particular patient. That is what is our aim is. Okay, because if you once know that this patient is getting ventilated properly, then we do not have to worry. But looking at the your ventilator graph, if you find that something abnormal is going on with the patient, then we need to correct it. That is what our aim is. So how do you find out, basing on this data, whether the patient is ventilated with volume control or whether the patient is ventilated with pressure control? Because there are basic two modes of ventilation. Am I correct? One is control mode, second is spontaneous mode. Control mode means when the ventilator is giving all the 100% breaths to the patient. Spontaneous mode means when the patient is taking the breath by himself. Understand? In between there are another mode that is called assist control mode. Assist control means the patient will initiate a breath, the machine will support the breath. So that is called assist control mode. So the patient will initiate, the machine will support. So control mode, then assist control mode and spontaneous mode. Okay. So in control mode we have two types of modes. One is called volume control, second is called pressure control. Understand? In spontaneous mode we have pressure support mode or pressure support ventilation and CPAP mode, continuous positive airway pressure mode. Okay. So PSV and CPAP is a spontaneous mode. Volume control mode and pressure control mode are the two control mode. In between, which is called as assist control. So I will tell you how the assist control mode will look like. Now what are the basic things before we go to this graphic we should remember? One is called as trigger. So when you deal with the ventilator, three things you need to remember. One is called the trigger, second is called the limit, third is called the cycle. Okay. So what is trigger? What do you mean by trigger? Yes. So whenever we put the patient on ventilator, how the inspiration starts? Because if you are breathing spontaneously, your inspiration starts from here, then that is sensed to the inspiratory muscles and you are taking a breath. But since the patient is paralyzed, patient don't know anything, so how the machine will sense that we have to give a breath? That is called starting of a breath, starting of the inspiration is called trigger. So how does the trigger who is the trigger in case of the control mode of ventilation? So it is either the machine which is sensed by the time. So it is called the time trigger. Okay. If the patient is totally paralyzed, if the patient is not breathing, it is the time. Because if you have set some particular time, the machine will know after this time I have to give a breath, right? That is called the machine trigger breath. But in the meantime, in the machine trigger breath, if the patient is awake, little bit awake, or if the patient is generating a tidal volume, small tidal volume, then along with the machine the patient will also take a small tidal volume. So that is called patient trigger breath, understand? So how does the patient, once the patient is taking a breath, how does the machine sense it? This is by either if you keep a pressure trigger or flow trigger. So once the patient is taking a breath, the machine will sense either via a flow trigger or a pressure trigger. But if the patient is completely paralyzed, then it is the time trigger, understand? So trigger can be either time trigger, pressure trigger or flow trigger. Okay. So once there is a trigger on the machine, then the patient will take a breath. So the ventilator will deliver a flow. So ventilator is a machine which only knows how to give a flow inside. It only gives a flow. But how does the flow goes inside the patient? What are the patterns? How does it change? Once the flow goes inside, what happens? The pressure build up in the system. Suppose you push somebody inside the lung some air by high flow, the pressure is going to build up in the system. So that pressure we monitor on the here. Okay. Once the pressure is building up in the system, then tidal volume is being generated. That is why the tidal volume is generated from the flow. Okay, and the pressure is generated by the flow. So ultimately the first thing is the flow. But suppose the machine has given a flow, particular flow. Now the machine has to analyze how much flow it has to give. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी 1 लीटर दे रहा है, उसके बाद दे 1.5 लीटर, 2 लीटर, 3 लीटर, कितना भी देगा, ऐसा नहीं ना. That should be a safety limit, that should be a cut-off limit. Otherwise what happens, there can be damage to the lung parenchyma, lung alveoli. That is what it's called the limit. So it is limited by something. So in pressure trigger, in the pressure control and volume control, there are two different limits. So what is the limit in case of volume control? What limits the flow? It is the tidal volume. It is the tidal volume which limits the flow. Okay, or that's simply some automatic mechanism which tells the machine that it is flow limited. After this flow you cannot give. And once this tidal volume has built up, after that the flow cannot be given. That is called the limit. Okay, and third thing is, and in pressure control mode, it is the pressure which is the limit. The machine will sense that after this pressure I am not allowed to give the breath, so the machine will cut off the flow. Understand? So in pressure control the pressure is the limit. In volume control your flow and volume is the limit. Understand? Third thing is called the cycling. So cycling means change of inspiration to expiration. So how does the machine know that it can change from the inspiration to expiration? It is either in volume control mode, it can be time cycle, that is called cycling, time cycle. After a particular time the machine will change from inspiration to expiration, that is called time cycling. Or it can be a what is called as volume cycle. Volume cycle means once the particular volume has reached, the ventilator will change from inspiration to expiration. Or it can be something called as pressure cycle. A particular pressure and particular tidal volume has reached, it can change from inspiration to expiration. These are the volume control mode. This will be the volume control mode. Only in paralyzed patient. Okay? Similarly in pressure control mode, what is the cycling mechanism? Is the time, because in pressure control mode once a particular pressure is reached, after a particular time, that is called inspiratory time, the machine will change from inspiration to expiration. Got it? So these are the three parameters. So now if you go to the graph, this is the normal graph. Okay, so can you get those? So this is the normal graph what we discussed just now. So this is the volume control mode and this is the pressure control mode. Now see what happens in volume control mode. Here is the inspiratory valve opens. So there are three scalars, pressure, flow and volume. So first is, let's discuss about the flows. Okay. Now coming to the flow, here the inspiratory valve opens, air rushes inside the lungs and there is a pressure which is built up in the system, and as you know in the volume control mode the flow is constant. Okay. So after a certain amount of flow is reached, here the expiratory valve opens and the flows again come back to 0. Okay. Then there is a expiration. I told you any value above your baseline is positive, means the machine is giving a positive flow. Now once there is a expiration, it is a negative flow. So from here expiratory valve opens, the flow comes to 0 and there is a gap. You can see the expiratory valve opens here, the inspiratory valve closes here, but the expiratory valve opens here. So this gap is called pause. So usually in the volume control mode you can find a pause. So this is what actually is the pause. Understand? So from here the expiratory flow starts and the expiratory flow then again reaches to the baseline. This is called one cycle. Similarly the second cycle will start like this. If you analyze the pressure also, here the inspiratory valve opens, the pressure builds up in the system and the first part of the flow is used to overcome the resistance of the airway. So this up to this the flow is used to overcome the resistance of the airways. Then after that the flow gradually or the pressure gradually equilibrate with the alveolar pressure. Okay, so the alveolar pressure. That is why you can see two pressures in case of volume control ventilation. So this is called the peak pressure or the pressure in the airways, broncho central airways, and then the pressure drops and the pressure inside the alveoli or the lungs is called the plateau pressures. Then the pressure gradually drops here. So this is basically nothing but here the what is called as the expiratory valve opens here. Understand? So expiratory valve opens here, expiratory valve opens here, and expiratory valve opens here. So this time lag here is called the pause. This is the characteristic of volume control ventilation. Okay. And if you see the tidal volume, once the flow or pressure build up in the system, the tidal volume also build up in the system, and the volume after that remain constant, and here the expiratory valve opens and the volume again come back to 0. So this is the characteristic of volume control ventilation. So in volume control ventilation, three things you see. In the pressure time graph, you see two types of pressure. One is called the peak pressure, which is the pressure in the airways. You can find a pause and you can find a plateau pressure in the volume control ventilation. If you come to the flow time graph, in the flow time graph you can find the peak flow is square wave pattern or peak flow remain constant, and then there is a pause, then this is the expiratory flow and this is called the peak expiratory flow rate, and then the flow reaches the baseline. This is very important. Every flow should reaches to the baseline. Once the flow has generated, it should reaches to the baseline. If it is not reaching the baseline, there is some additional problem. We will discuss what is that. Similarly, in the volume control, you see the tidal volume start is generated here, then the tidal volume will come to the baseline. Okay. So this is, so if you divide this graph into two parts, this part is actually the inspiratory part and this part is actually the expiratory part. Understand? So this from this to this is the inspiratory part, or this to this is the inspiratory part. It is called the inspiratory time, and from here to here is the expiratory time. So inspiratory time, expiratory time, inspiratory time, expiratory time, inspiratory time, expiratory time. So these are the components of volume control ventilation. So if I ask you, how does the volume control ventilation graph look like? In the pressure time, you find two types of pressure, peak pressure and plateau pressure. In the flow time graph, you can find a square wave pattern of flow. Okay. In the volume time graph, you will find the volume reaches to the 0 and also the flow reaches to the 0. Am I clear? So this is volume control ventilation, very important. Now come to the pressure control ventilation. So in the pressure control ventilation, first let's go to the pressure time graph. Okay. So if you see the pressure time graph, I told you in which is the limiting factor in pressure control ventilation? It is the pressure. So you can find once that particular pressure is reached, then that the ventilator will cut off the flow from the to the patient. So you can find only one type of pressure. So this is the inspiratory pressure, then this is the expiratory pressure. This is the inspiratory pressure, this is the expiratory pressure. So you can find only one pressure is there in pressure time graph. In the flow time graph, you can see the flow suddenly reaches to the top, then gradually the flow will decrease from the top to the bottom. This pattern is called decelerating pattern. So you can find this is a square wave pattern, this is a decelerating pattern. This is the difference between the pressure control and volume control. Okay. And the volume time graph in both here and volume control and the pressure control will look like the same, there is no difference. Understand? So can I have a quick revision? Volume control, important criteria, important characteristic in pressure time.
Yeah.
You can have a repeat.
So what do you set on the volume control mode? You all of you have seen volume control mode, right? So what do you set on the volume control mode? Tidal volume you set the rate, right? You set the PEEP and you set the FiO2. So in volume control mode, what is fixed? Volume, and what is, apart from that, flows. Okay, and what is changing? Pressure. Very good. So this is one basic thing. So in volume control mode, volume is fixed, pressure flows are fixed, but the pressure will change. So I will monitor pressures on the ventilator graphics, right? So next mode is pressure control mode. So in pressure control mode, what is fixed and what is changing? Volume and flows. So I will monitor volumes and I will also monitor the flows if it is displayed. So in pressure control mode, I will monitor volumes, and in volume control mode, I will monitor pressures. Clear? Right? So any alarm comes to you like pressure, elevated pressure alarm. So you need to see why that alarm is coming. So and what mode the patient is on. Then second is how the waveforms are different, how the scalars and loops scalars are different in both the modes, right? All of you have used pressure control. Which mode you use at volume control? What about you? Volume control mode only, right? Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the control mode. Now we'll go to the how the spontaneous mode will look like. Okay. There are two types of mode. One is called pressure support and CPAP. Okay. So in pressure support mode, can you see these are the small negative deflection. So the patient will initiate the breaths and the machine will set the breath according to the pressure level set, or give the flow according to the pressure level set. So if you see the pressure time graph here, it will look like the same. So here the pressure will go up, and once the set pressure has reached, the machine automatically there will be the flow will get cut off from the machine. Okay, and this is the flow time graph. Important part here is here in the pressure support versus pressure control. So this is PSV, but in pressure control and pressure support, what is the main difference? It is the cycling. It is the cycling. The pressure support is flow cycled. Pressure support is flow cycled. Flow cycle means once the flow, initial flow will reaches 25% of the initial flow. Once the flow will reaches the 25% of the initial flow, the machine will change from inspiration to expiration. Whereas in pressure control, it is the time cycle. So pressure support is flow cycle, pressure control is time cycle. That is the only difference, important difference. Otherwise, rest other parts are same. Volume time graph is also same. Okay. So this is called pressure support ventilation. It is a spontaneous mode and flow cycle. Okay. And what is CPAP? Continuous positive airway pressure. Here we give a uniform baseline pressure, 5 centimeter of water. You can see this is the baseline and the patient is breathing above the baseline. So patient is breathing, expiring and inspiring at a baseline pressure of 5 centimeter of water. So every time the patient is trying to breathe, he is not coming, the lungs are not coming back to zero. He is trying to breathe at a pressure of 5 centimeter. He is not breathing at a pressure of 0. That's why the work of breathing will be less. So if you combine both the modes, the pressure support and the CPAP mode with this, the baseline pressure is also elevated and patient will also have an supported breaths. That is why the pressure support plus CPAP is a better winning mode than only pressure support mode. Am I correct? Everybody is clear up to this? Everybody is clear between pressure control and volume control, spontaneous and control mode of the scalar? Clear? Next we will be going to the loops. Any doubt? Now you can identify, if I give you a graph, whether it is a pressure control or volume control, are you able to identify? Very good. That's what is main important. Okay. Then we are going to discuss now the same thing. Now the same thing is what is, you can see the actual on the screen. Here the patient is actually getting ventilated. So you can see here it is called the pressure time graph, flow time graph and volume time graph. Here you can change the settings. So in this, so this is which mode of ventilation? Okay, why volume control mode of ventilation? Volume is constant, and what other part is constant? Flow is also constant. Okay, fine. And what other parts, how the type of flow is, which pattern of flow? Square wave flow. So that is why it is a volume control ventilation. Okay. Now see the settings in the volume control ventilation. If you put the patient on volume control ventilation, you need to monitor the which pressure? Peak pressure and plateau pressure. Okay, now you see what are the settings. You can set the FiO2, you can set the tidal volume, you can have the option of setting the T inspiratory pause or T inspiratory time 1.5 rate. Okay, then PEEP. Okay, so this is basically the pause which is given. If you remove the pause, you can see the expiration will start from here instead of here. Okay, so this is the pause. If you give the pause only, you can find two types of pressure. One is called the peak pressure and the plateau pressure. Okay, correct? Okay. Can we go to the pressure control ventilation? And you can see here what the patients are getting, the parameter which the patient gets. Okay, Okay, so here you are ventilating and the, okay. Now see what is the difference between this graph? Is it a pressure control or volume control? Why do you say that it is a pressure control? Pressure is constant. Okay, very good. Then second is flow is decelerating. Okay, that is why it is a pressure control ventilation. If you see the flow is decelerating. Okay, flow is decelerating. Now see the difference here is this flow is not reaching the baseline here. Okay, the same thing is here. So can you say it is a pressure support? If you see the graph is also like this, here the graph is also like this. I told you the main difference between pressure control and pressure support is the cycling. Pressure support is flow cycle, but if you see here it looks like that it is flow cycle. Ideally it should come down here then start, come down here and start, but it is not looking like that. So how do you know that whether it is a PSV or pressure control? Yes, in case of pressure support ventilation you will not find this, what is called as your this, okay, you will not find this, you will only have these two knobs, one is called the PEEP, one is called the pressure support, and second you will not find the rate also, because since it is a spontaneous mode the patient will breathe according to his own rate. So these two buttons are not there, rate and, can you just check it? Okay, so only these three things will be there, only one is the pressure support above the PEEP, second is the PEEP, ramp and O2. These are the three things. That's why it is a pressure support. It is not a pressure control. In pressure control, you will find all the 5 knobs are there. Understand? Okay. Now, should we go to the loops? Everybody is clear? Now, going to the loops. There are 2 types of loops. One is called pressure volume loops and flow volume loops. So, let's see how does the pressure volume loops look like. Okay, see this is the pressure volume loop. So here you can find the pressure on the x axis and volume on the y axis. Okay, this is how the inspiration starts, then how the expiration ends, and important part here is this expiratory limb should come to the baseline, come to the 0 in pressure volume loop. Okay, now since this is the 0 actually, but the loop start from 10. Why it is so? Because you have given a PEEP of 10, that is why the baseline is shifted. If somebody will give a PEEP of 15, the baseline will be further shifted. Understand? So what are the information you can get from here? So look at this. So this is called inspiration, this is called expiration. If you divide the loop into 2 parts, the lower part is actually the inspiratory resistance and the upper part is called the expiratory resistance. Okay, so if the inspiratory resistance is high, then the lower part graph will look like this. The expiratory resistance will be very high, the graph will look like this. Okay, and second thing, you can also get some of the information regarding the leak, like here in this case. So if you see like this, instead of coming back to 0, the limb will come like here. So it will cut the y axis, then there is a leak. Understand? So leak you can find from the volume time graph, leak you can find from the pressure volume loop. Correct? Now how do you find the compliance problem here? So majority of cases there are 2 kinds of problem, whether it is a problem in the resistance or whether it is a problem in the compliance. So resistance, I told you this is the inspiratory resistance and this is the expiratory resistance, but how do you find the compliance? See, note this point tip. Okay, if the compliance will go down, what will happen? What will happen? If there is a change in this point, okay, then usually this is a compliance problem. If suppose this suppose there is a shift of the tip, okay, to down or up, then this is a compliance problem. Understand? Next will be the flow volume loop. Can you have the flow volume loop? See, this is the flow volume loop. So basically flow volume loop is nothing but, see, this is the inspiratory flow, this is the expiratory flow. It is just the opposite of the PFT, how you do. So this is the inspiratory flow, this is the expiratory flow. Same, principles is same, it should come to the baseline. It should come always to the 0. If it is not coming to 0 and touching your x axis or y axis, there can be abnormality. If it is touching your x axis, if it is touching your x axis, sorry, y axis, then, sorry, x axis, then there can be a leak. There can be a leak. If it is touching your x axis, then there can be a leak. If it is touching your y axis, there can be a, what is called as auto peep. Understand? Understand? This is very simple. Just remember the things. How does the graph look like? And what the problems we are dealing with, whether we are dealing with a resistance or whether we are dealing with a compliance problem, or whether we are dealing with a what is called as auto peep. These are the three things mainly we are dealing with on the ventilator graphics. So this is what actually is the normal graphics. Now we will come to different scenarios, how the graphics will look like. Any doubt from here? Now anybody can ask the, can able to identify the type of graphics, whether it is a volume control or pressure control? Yes? Okay. So we will go to some case scenarios. Okay, I will just give a case scenario. Now suppose you are in the ICU, you are on the bedside of the patient, okay. Now suddenly you find that the alarm in your ventilator is buzzing. You do not able to identify what is the alarm, and your intensivist comes to you near to the ventilator and he is there, and this is the graphic actually.
Can you identify what is the abnormality?
First identify what are the problems happening here, one by one. So peak pressure is high. First thing, identify whether it is a which mode of ventilation, whether it is a volume control or pressure control. Which mode of ventilation this is? Which mode? Volume control or pressure control? Volume control. Why it is a volume control? Volume is constant and flow is square wave pattern. Okay. And what is the problem out here? See the peak pressure. See the peak pressure. Okay, it is going so high. If you see the value also, it is 53. Normal peak pressure should be 20 to 22. Okay. Now it is going up to 53. So peak pressure is high. So if the peak pressure is high, what could be the problem? In which cases the peak pressure goes high? I told you the peak pressure is pressure inside the airways. So there is a problem inside the airways. What are the problems? Obstruction, secretions, then bronchospasm, bronchoconstriction, then there can be any kink in the circuit. It can be a problem in the circuit, it can be a problem in the connectors, it can be a problem inside the tube, it can be a problem inside your bronchus. So kinking of the circuit, then bronchospasm, foreign body inside the endotracheal tube, it also can be possible. So these are the 5 possible causes. So you have to go one by one, step by step, one by one. But before that, you should always rule out whenever the peak pressure goes high, whether additional compliance problem is there or not. You know this, definitely the peak pressure is going up, resistance is high, but whether am I dealing with a low compliance. So to know that, what should you do? You are right that this peak pressure is high, so it is a resistance problem, but whether to know whether there is any additional compliance.
Of the pressure curve will be gone.
No, you have to do some extra maneuvers, extra things on ventilator. What do you need to do? So what do you do? Yes, that is also another problem we correctly identify. You see, the expiration is not reaching the baseline. Ideally it should be here, but it is here, not reaching the baseline. There is some gap. That is also another important finding on your graphics. I told you every flow, every volume graph should reach to the baseline, but here you see it is not reaching the baseline. So that is also another problem. So two problems. So first problem is to find out whether there is any additional compliance issues or not. So what do? You need to do a inspiratory hold maneuver. Inspiratory hold maneuver. There is a button called inspiratory hold maneuver. Okay, provided the patient is sedated and paralyzed and don't have any spontaneous breathing efforts. Okay, so now paralyze this patient and do the inspiratory hold maneuver. So we are doing the inspiratory hold. So inspiratory hold maneuver will tells us whether there is additional compliance issues or not by looking at the plateau pressure.
So we are doing here inspiratory hold, as you can see the pressures. What is the pressure here after putting in? So what is the pressure is this one?
So this is called after the inspiratory hold, this is actually called the plateau pressure. If you are doing an inspiratory hold, this is called the plateau pressure. See, plateau pressure is almost say 22. Okay, so there we have written. So first thing, the peak pressure here is, first part it is 19. Okay, now it has gone up to 53. So it is gone up to 53. So we will write here it is 53. Now we do a inspiratory hold maneuver. We found that the plateau pressure before was 20. Still now it is same 22. So only the peak pressure has gone up. That means it is a resistance problem, it is a airway problem, it is not a compliance problem. There is no problem in the lungs itself, problem in the bronchus. Understand? Okay. And the second part of the issues, what is that called? When the expiratory flow will not touch your baseline. Can you see here this graph? The expiratory will not touch your baseline. Ideally it should go to here, but it is not touching your baseline. Everybody able to see it? So this is called auto PEEP. Okay? So auto PEEP, understand? So this is called auto PEEP, or the other name is dynamic hyperinflation. Okay, that is called auto PEEP. So how do we find the auto PEEP on the ventilator? If you suspect this kind of graph, how do you find the auto PEEP on the ventilator? No, how do you confirm it, the auto PEEP? How much amount of auto PEEP is there? He identified that there is auto PEEP, but how do you confirm it?
Do you do any maneuver to check?
Like this inspiratory hold, any other maneuver is there to check it? It is just the opposite, expiratory hold, expiratory hold. So there is one inspiratory hold and there is one expiratory hold. So inspiratory hold will give you idea regarding plateau pressure. Inspiratory hold is plateau pressure, expiratory hold is auto PEEP. So can you do the expiratory hold maneuver? Got it? So once you press the expiratory hold, you see this is the amount of auto PEEP is there, almost 5 to 6 centimeter of water. Am I correct? Clear? So in this patient there are two problems. One is called the peak pressure is going high, which is most of the times in your ICU you will find it. Most of the times, 90% cases you will find the peak pressure is going high. Second part of the problem is patient is having auto PEEP. Okay. Now how to correct this? How to correct the peak pressures is going high and how to correct the plateau pressure, your auto PEEP? How to correct your auto PEEP? Yes. Okay. Fine. So why does auto PEEP happens? Whenever the patient is not able to expire completely, some amount of gases remain inside his lungs, then what happens? At the end of each expiration, the alveoli get distended. Again when he takes the next breath, some amount of air remain inflated. Again by this way the lungs goes on inflating, and ultimately what will happen? It will compress your venous return and it will compromise your venous return, and the venous return to the heart will decrease. Ultimately sometimes the heart will go into bradycardia and asystole. So मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स आपने सुना होगा सडनली पेशेंट को वेंटिलेटर पे डाला और पेशेंट अरेस्ट हो गया, कार्डियक अरेस्ट हो गया, फ्लैट लाइन हो गया, ब्राडिकार्डिया में चला गया. दिस इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ऑटोपिप. So whenever you don't give proper time for expiration, those cases the patient is prone for autopip. So to reduce the chances of autopip, you have to give proper expiratory time to the patient, because if you give proper expiratory time, the expiration will happen properly. All the air which is there inside the lungs will properly expire to the ventilator and the autopip will not happen. And this autopip is very commonly happens with patient with COPD and bronchial asthma. Understand? So what do we do here to decrease the autopip? I think you told what? First is I ratio. How? हाँ, क्या करना है I ratio को? I ratio को कम करना है. So that's why you want to give more expiratory time, right? Okay. और क्या कर सकते हैं? मिनट वॉल्यूम को, रेस्पिरेटरी रेट को कम कर सकते हैं. ओके, और क्या कर सकते हैं? सो लेट्स सी हाउ द इफेक्ट इज देयर. So in most of the ventilators you don't have the option of decreasing the I ratio. The I ratio changes according to your ventilator settings, when your flow and your inspiratory time. So if you decrease your flow, what will happen? If you decrease your flow, what happens to the I ratio? If you decrease your flow, I ratio will, the inspiratory time will get increased. Understand? So it is not going to, am I right? If you increase your inspiratory flow, the I ratio is going to, the inspiratory time is reduced. Yes. So inspiratory time is reduced. That's why the decreasing the flow is also one of the options. So first you try for decreasing of the flow, see whether the I ratio is altering or not, and patient is getting proper expiratory time or not. Second is you have to reduce the inspiratory time also. Inspiratory time, if you, because see your one cycle of respiration is fixed, you can take inspiration for 1 second, expiration for 2 seconds. Total 3 seconds your time is fixed, because you breathe at a rate of 16 per minute. But if somebody is breathing at a rate or having a breathing at a rate of very fast, okay, so in this case what will happen? The inspiratory time will be more, expiratory time will be less. So if you reduce your inspiratory time, your expiratory time will automatically get prolonged. That is why the patient will get more and more time for the expiration. That is also another option. Okay. Third thing will to reduce the respiratory rate also. Okay. To reduce the respiratory rate also. So can we go down on your flow? Okay, let's see how the changes, how the things changes. First let's.
So we already reduced the, just 36. So we have reduced the flow, and now we'll check I ratio. So it is, inspiration is 1 second and inspiration is 1 second and expiration is 7.
Yes. Yep.
Problem is there in the airway.
Yes. Yes.
Then why you are changing the ventilation?
Why we are changing the ventilation? Because we are changing the ventilation because we are concerned about the autopip. Because autopip is more dangerous. If autopip goes on increasing, patient will have cardiac arrest. That is why we are. You only identify that autopip, na? You only told me that there is a breath stacking or there is some problem in the flow here. That's why we are altering this. Autopip is more dangerous than your peak inspiratory pressure. That is why we are changing the ventilation. Okay. So now he has changed the flow. Now the I ratio is almost, you can say 1:7. So almost you can get a lot of expiratory time, and you see the autopip get corrected here. The autopip get corrected here. ठीक है, और क्या कर सकते हैं? Any other things we can do? रेट कम, रेट रिड्यूस किया ना, तो रेट भी कम किया, ठीक है, और इंस्पिरेटरी टाइम भी कम किया, अंडरस्टैंड? ओके, बट रिमेंबर इफ योर पेशेंट इज ए COPD or asthma, ideally you should not give a pause also, because if you give a pause, because what will happens, if you see this part is actually the active inspiration here, this part is actually the active inspiration, okay, this part is actually not, no gas exchange is happening in the lungs during the ventilation, so this is called the pause. So if you remove the pause also, sometimes it helps for treating the your autopip. So mostly in COPD and your asthma patient, you should not even give a pause, the pause is more dangerous, okay. The other thing you can do for the COPD, because these patients are more prone for the, this is called as autopip, correct. So at least you have identified that this patient is having a high peak pressure and this patient is having a autopip, that is more important. After that also you can call up your senior to sort out the problems, if you are confused with how to sort out the problems, but at least the identification of the problem is more important, okay. Can we go to the next this thing, next troubleshooting? Now the same patient, another patient comes to you in your ICU, patient is very tachypneic, patient saturation is 70%, patient have bilateral haziness in the lungs, you decided to put him on ventilator and you have put him on ventilator, and after this is the ventilator settings, this is the ventilator settings and this is the ventilator parameters. So can anybody comment on this? Which mode of first thing is, which mode of ventilation this is? Volume control or pressure control? Why you say it is a pressure control? Why it is a volume control? Sorry? Look at the pressure time graph, okay, and look at the flow time graph.
So you can see here you have a volume control here and a pressure control here. So look at them as we discussed before. So volume control is a fixed volume constant flow, right. So which scalar you will look into this? The first pressure time scalar, right. You can see a square waveform, right. The pressures are going up, staying constant and coming down, right. So that is a constant flow. Then you can see the flow time scalar, right. So you can see flow time scalar, again it is going up and coming down, with in between there is a pause, and then you see the volume time scalar, the last one, where you can see inspiration, then pause and then expiration. So that is why this is a volume control mode, right. Okay, so whenever you see this kind of graphic, when you go back to your hospital and you see these kind of graphics, you try to identify what kind of waveform it is and what kind of mode this could be, okay. So you have seen this and you have seen the settings. Now what is the abnormality here? Anybody from second row?
What is the abnormality here? So you have identified this is a volume control ventilation, okay.
What is the abnormality on?
So what is the, look at the graph.
So you can make mistake, don't worry, we are not expecting right answer. You tell what you think.
What is happening on the first graph? Sorry? What is happening on the first graph? Look at the first graph, what is happening? Peak pressure is high, very good. So that is the abnormality, na? Peak pressure is very high. Then? So if the peak pressure is very high, next step is? Yes, next step is look for the plateau pressure.
Plateau pressure.
Look for the plateau pressure. So how do you look for the plateau pressure? By inspiration, hold. So when do you do a inspiratory hold? When the patient is completely paralyzed, sedated and no spontaneous breathing efforts. So now we are going to do a inspiratory hold. Okay. Now check whether,
So
now
we
see
have
the inspiratory hold. So what is the pressure in inspiratory hold? Almost around 28, 30, understand? So now if you come to the same scenario, you see the peak pressure here is 19 and now the peak pressure is 53. Peak pressure is 53. The plateau pressure is initially 20, now it is almost say what, 30, correct? This is, so this we are dealing with this case or not? Peak pressure is initially 20, then it is now 53, which is seen here, and when you measure the inspiratory hold, the plateau pressure before is 20, now it is going to 30. So what is happening here? So in the last graph, the peak pressure were only high, the plateau pressure remains the same. Okay. In this graph, the peak pressures are also high and the plateau pressures are also high.
Yeah.
So there is a difference or not? So what is the difference? So what problem this is? What problem? If the plateau pressure is high, it is a problem in the, that is called compliance problem. So first case we are only dealing with resistance problem. Here we are dealing with a compliance problem. Compliance means problem inside the alveoli, that is called the compliance problem. Okay. So what are the situations where you find such compliance problem? What are the disease which leads to this compliance problem? Just like that you told, in the resistance problem you can have bronchospasm, you can have foreign body, you can have secretions, you can have what is called as kinking of the circuit, but what are the disease where your compliance will be an issue? ARDS, very good. So ARDS, pneumonitis, lung contusions, trauma to the lungs, okay, tuberculosis, aspiration pneumonia, where there is a direct injury to the alveoli or parenchyma, then your compliance problem will come. So though both the graphs are different or not, even if they look same, both the graphs are different. Okay, so how do you sort out this? Now you have treated everything, you have, now this patient is suppose ARDS, you have give everything possible, you have started antibiotics, you have put him on ventilator, everything you have sorted out. Now you have to see the peak pressure, plateau pressure is also high. Now your aim is to reduce the plateau pressure. So how do you reduce the plateau pressure on ventilator? We are only going for the ventilator settings. We are not concerned about the other conditions which can also leads to reduce in the plateau pressure. So how do you manage the plateau pressures on the ventilator? Because here the plateau pressure is high. So how do you going to manage it? What are the settings you need to change so that your plateau pressure is come down? Because remember, it is the plateau pressure which is important for the lungs injury. It is not the peak pressure. तुम्हारा peak pressure अगर 60-70 तक भी गया है तो lungs को injure नहीं होता है, bronchus को problem होता है. But अगर plateau pressure 25 से 30 हो गया तो lungs को problem होता है. That is why plateau pressure is more dangerous in compared to your peak pressure. Understand? So how do you manage it?
So what is the strategy in ARDS? How do you ventilate the patient in ARDS?
So what are the strategy to reduce the plateau pressure?
Low tidal volume. Very
That is
good.
called
lung protective
ventilation.
Ventilation.
So your strategy should be lung protective ventilation strategy.
And what is the rate of tidal volume? Low tidal volume is 6 to 8 ml per kg body weight, either ideal body weight, right? So in this patient the tidal volume is how much? In this patient tidal volume is 440, and with that we got a plateau pressure of 30. So what will you like to do? Suppose this patient is 50 kg. Adjust the tidal. What will you do?
According to ideal body weight.
So will reduce or increase? Reduce the tidal volume. Okay. What else you would like to do? Okay, we'll reduce the tidal volume.
How much you will reduce? Say 6 ml per kg. So 340 ml per kg. Now see how the plateau pressure is changing. Everybody is understanding this, na? And no difficulty. Okay. Now we have changed the tidal volume. So how again we measure the plateau pressure. Let's measure the plateau pressure. और फिर से करो एक बार फिर से, हाँ सी 30 था अभी 25 तक आ गया,
26 हो गया,
36 हो गया,
राइट.
सो कम हुआ है,
So
करेक्ट.
so you reduce the tidal volume and you were able to reduce the plateau pressures. What else you will do?
Now what is your aim to reduce the plateau, means up to plateau pressure should be less than 30 is acceptable. If it is going more than 30 is dangerous. Now it is less than 30, how much it is 36. So your aim is to bring down the plateau pressure less than 36. So what are you going to do? Do you want to reduce the tidal volume further?
To 5 ml per kg per
Yes. So
Yes.
go 1 ml per kg every hourly. Reduce the tidal volume further. If your plateau pressure is going still high, you reduce the tidal volume further 1 ml per kg. So it means 5 ml per kg. Now let's see. So what is the effect on 5 ml per kg?
So as you go down on a tidal volume, your minute ventilation will go down. So that's why you have to go up on the respiratory rate, right? So that is another setting you will have to change to in order to maintain your pH. You have to accept little bit of hypercapnia, right?
Understand? That is called the permissive hypercapnia.
Permissive hypercapnia.
Because if you are ventilating with a very low tidal volume, your carbon dioxide inside the lungs will go on rising. So that's why you have to increase the respiratory rate.
So I'll do a inspiratory hold now.
Means up to 45 CO carbon dioxide you accept. After that, if it is still rising, you can increase your respiratory rate up to 35. You can go up to 35.
So this is his plateau pressure. It's still almost the same, 26, 27, right? Yeah.
Any other further want to reduce? You can also reduce still 1 ml per kg. Up to you can go up to maximum 4 ml per kg. Understand? So you can go up to 4 ml per kg. So we can see how is this look like 4 ml per kg करके देखते हैं.
It's already
4 ml per kg.
yeah.
Okay. So we cannot reduce the plateau pressure further lower than this. Then we have to adapt some other strategies to reduce the tidal volume, to reduce your plateau pressure, like prone ventilation, okay, recruitment maneuvers,
Paralysis.
Paralysis,
We have
sedation.
paralysis, sedation.
all those things has to be done.
Yeah. Okay.
ठीक है,
Okay. 5. I think 10.
time हो गया 5 minutes.
हाँ,
Okay. So these are the two major things. Now the third thing what I am going to tell you about the leak in the circuit, which is the commonest problem. So how do you monitor the leak in the circuit? So to measure the leak in the circuit, you have to only look at the what is called as this graph. This is the what is called the volume time graph. Volume time graph. If your volume time graph is not reaching the baseline, then there is a leak on the circuit. Like this, see, the volume time graph is not reaching your baseline here. Okay, ideally it should come like this, but here it is not coming to the baseline. So there is a leak in the circuit. Okay, so always remember this. So whenever you see your volume time graph is not reaching the baseline and there is a difference between your expired tidal volume and the inspired tidal volume, that means there is a leak on the circuit. So this is what is the basis of your ventilator graphics. Any questions?
Okay. So we'll solve the MCQs now. Okay. All of you have the MCQ paper? Right. Okay. At the back side you have MCQ paper. You can take this. Can you pass it on?
Mandatory breaths.
Why it is mandatory breath?
No? And why it is not spontaneous breaths?
Negative deflection. Very good.
Right.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, what is this loop indicates? I told you what is this loop indicate? Pressure volume loop. Which kind of loop this is? Pressure volume loop. This is pressure volume loop. So what is the problem here? Resistance. Okay. Whenever the pressure volume loop, the peak point remains same, but the graph stretches like this. This is called the resistance problem. Whenever the peak point changes, then there is a compliance problem. ठीक है. So यहाँ पे आपका peak देखो, peak point जो है same है, but दोनों side stretch हो गया है. So it is a resistance problem. Okay. Now next.
What is the type of breath? Sorry.
What is the type of breath? Yeah, tell me. What is the type of breath?
You can say whatever you feel, like, but let us know what you are thinking.
Mandatory है, assist है या spontaneous है? Both. Mandatory breath रहेगा तो only positive side में रहेगा. Assisted breath रहेगा तो थोड़ा negative रहेगा और ज़्यादा positive रहेगा. Spontaneous होगा तो दोनों साइड में positive, negative दोनों साइड में रहेगा. So कौन सा breath है ये? Spontaneous.
Spontaneous breath.
Okay. Identify the problem. तीनों ग्राफ दिया हुआ है. फर्स्ट ग्राफ में क्या होगा?
First graph is what type of scalar in this, like which type of scalar it is? Tell what is in x axis, what is in
Which type of scalar? First graph is PT, FT or VT? Huh? Yes.
VT. Very
VT,
good. It's a
volume
volume times scalar. Look at the third graph, right? Yeah. So what is happening there? Leak.
Leak.
Very good.
Very good.
It is
Because
not
the
touching the
baseline.
baseline.
Very good.
Yeah. Next is what scalar?
FT, flow time. Very good. So what is the problem here?
Not
that
touching
is
the.
called as expiration.
Yeah.
Expiration is not touching the baseline. That
You
is
can
called
see
as-
here. See, expiration is not touching the
So
baseline.
it is called auto peak.
Auto peak.
Okay. Third is
Pressure times scalar. Very
pressure
good.
times scalar.
Very good. So what is the problem? We have discussed in the cases.
So what is the problem
The
here?
waveform is peak pressures are elevated and even the plateau. So when there is a
Hello?
peak pressure elevated, plateau pressure, the second case we discussed,
5 minute में.
it indicates
5 minute.
problem in the compliance, right? So there is a decrease in lung compliance. So it is a peak pressure elevated, plateau pressure elevated. What is the next? Which mode is the patient is on? Tell me the mode. Volume control. Why volume control?
Flow is square.
Flow is square waveform. So what is the problem?
Problem is
So you can see there is a small concavity in the inspiratory limb of the tidal volume.
If you look the first graph and second graph, the flow is
Less.
in the second graph. So this is called flow starvation. This commonly happens in volume control ventilation. Sometimes the flow goes very low. Okay, that is called flow. Next, what this loop?
What is
indicates?
this graph? Is it a loop or scalar? Say loudly. Loop. What loop it
What
is?
loop it is?
What is written on x-axis and y-axis? So pressure, volume, loop.
PV loop. Okay.
Look, so you look at here, it's the normal loop here, right? Pressure, volume. So what is the difference between this loop and this loop? Volume has gone down, very good. And pressure is elevated. So loop has turned towards right side, right? If you see this graph and your graph in the MCQ, so graph is turned towards right side. So the pressure is increased, but pressure has increased, but the volume has not increased at the same time, it is less. So it indicates
compliance problem or resistance problem. Your peak point has gone down. Understand? So peak point has gone down. There last time the compliance problem.
So
So what are the diseases where the compliance will affected?
ARDS. So answer is ARDS. What is the next graph? Say loudly. What is the name of, identify the next graph?
the expression is not
No, what is the graph? Is it a loop or a scalar? Loop. So which loop it is? Pressure and volume loop. Look here. This is the same graph. But what is the difference between this graph and this graph? You can see at the upper inflection point, there is a small beaking, right? There is a small point. So that is called beaking, and that over distension, right? That is because of over distension of your alveoli. means you are giving very high pressure, but tidal volume is not improving. Now next is what graph? Flow volume graph, very good. So what is the problem in the flow volume? So look here, this graph, flow volume loop graph. What is happening? What is happening to the expiratory limb?
Not coming
Coming with 0. So what does it indicate? Leak. Leak. Very good. Very good. Okay. So you need to, when you go home, when you have seen ventilators every day, right? But you know, every day you have seen these ventilator, every day you are seeing these graphics,
Need to practice.
right?
Need to practice more and more. Just stand
So whatever we have discussed today, go and practice that and identify only mode. What is normal? Look at the normal patient, a surgical patient who is ventilated in your ICU. Look at those and identify what is pressure times scalar, volume times scalar, and flow times scalar. When you see normal, then you identify abnormalities. Most commonly, you call doctors when you see alarm is raising, you go and switch off the alarm, but don't switch off the alarm next time. See what is the alarm, and if you hear that peak pressure alarm is there, then whatever we have told you today, try to remember those things and go to the doctor or go to your senior physician and ask him, inform him that peak pressures are high persistently. So when a patient cough or like that, you transiently peak pressure may go up, but if it is consistent, you need to call someone. So whenever peak pressures are high, plateau pressures are high, you have to call, assess the patient and your ventilator as well, right? Okay, thank you.